Good morning, Facebook. Welcome to Bringing the Zoo to You here at Brookfield Zoo. As always, thank you for joining us and thank you for your continued support. My name's Craig. I'm an animal care specialist here, and today we're in Wild Encounters and we're outside the Red Panda exhibit. So inside here we have Olivia, the trainer, and our Red Panda Leo. And today we're going to talk about training and show you guys a training session with him and see if we can get him to do one of his new behaviors that Olivia trained him to do. So let me preface this chat by saying that everything that we do for training is choice-based. So at any point, if Leo decides he wants to be done, that's okay. We're going to let him make the decision to leave and make the decision to come back if he wants to come back. But we don't force him to train. We don't force him to really do anything he doesn't want to do. He just won't get his extra treats at the moment. If it's today, Olivia's giving him some of his diet items. So if he doesn't train right now, we just will feed him a little bit later today so that he doesn't associate getting reinforced with refusing to train.
And that is important to note too, that this is extra treats.
Yes.
This is not that if they don't do the training session, they don't eat.
Right.
People, I think, sometimes get confused about that.
Well, and it can be tricky too, because sometimes an animal just really likes their diet and that's all they want to work for. So we will have to, if the training session didn't go well or if they refused, we'll just step away for about 10 minutes so that they can kind of forget about that session, and then we'll come back in and feed them. So it's two different events that they're not linking them together. So some of the training that we do with, that's okay guys. Thank you. No problem. Some of the training that we do with Leo, it's husbandry training. So stuff that helps us take care of him better. We do training every day with him, whether it's getting him to go onto a scale or getting him to go into his crate willingly. That way we can take him to the vets if we need to. It's something that he does regularly all the time, so it's routine, it's not stressful, but also he's making that choice. He's also target trained, so we can get him to follow a target and go from place to place. That's how we trained him to get on the scale. He's also trained to stand up so that we can look at his belly if we need to. And then he does get a flea medication that's topical, so something that we put on his back. So we actually had to train him to let us touch him on the back so that we could put that medicine on him without him being stressed out. But one of the new behaviors that we've trained him to do is not really a husbandry behavior, but it's something fun. Get him mentally stimulated, but it's something that we like to do for people so that they can see one of the really cool adaptations that a red panda has. So Leo's trained to paint. So what he's doing right now is he's taking the paintbrush and then he's going to make little strokes on a canvas on a piece of paper, and then he's going to give the paintbrush back to Olivia and she'll reinforce him for that whole behavior. And so the reason why we like to do this behavior is because we can demonstrate how red pandas can grab onto things really easily. They have a modified wrist bone that's called a faux thumb. So they have it and giant pandas have it, and that's what they use to grab bamboo and chew on it really easy. So we like to do this painting behavior so people can see how they hold that stuff.
What are the paintings for? Is it a present for his favorite videographer?
They can be. It depends on what we're feeling. So we have made paintings to give out for guests. Like if we're doing this as a chat just in front of people, a lucky guest who maybe participated a lot or just had a really cool shirt on that day, just whatever the criteria is, may get a painting. But we also have done these for like donors and stuff like that too.
Yeah, they're very cool.
He's a pretty good artist.
Now, how old is he?
Leo just turned 4 years old. His birthday was last week, actually.
Well,
so he's still a young man. Under professional care, these guys could live 12 to 15 years pretty easily. In the wild, not so much. They don't have, as much access to food like he would here. He doesn't have the excellent vet care that he would here. There are predators in the wild. There's not predators here. So, are
they facing any kind of environmental threats?
Habitat loss, primarily. That's their main one. I mean, they have been hunted and there are predators naturally, which is, always the case, but they would be fine if it wasn't for the loss of, where they live. So,
is there anything that we can do? to help them here in Chicago? Chicagoland.
Chicagoland.
Sorry,
well, here in
Chicagoland.
Chicagoland, yeah. Well, I mean, the big thing is just knowing about these guys, caring about these guys. That's the big one, and he's really easy to care about. If you guys come and visit us here at the zoo, you'll get a chance to see him. He's always out here. You might see us doing a chat with him. But just coming and learning about him, learning why we care, supporting the zoo, any purchase you make here at the zoo, especially if you donate to the conservation fund, that all goes back into helping care for these guys, both here and out in the wild.
So who are they related to? Are they related to giant pandas?
So, no, not really. Maybe like distant, but they're actually in a family of their own. And the reason why they share that name, panda, is panda just means bamboo eater. Oh. So because they have this same primary diet, that's why they're called pandas, but they're not really related to giant pandas. And I guess if you had to pick one that's closest, would be a raccoon. But again, that's pretty distant too. These guys are just in their own family.
Okay.
So they are classified as carnivores though. So while he primarily eats bamboo, he's also getting a little bit of a compressed plant material and like in a biscuit form, but he also gets a little bit of fruits and veggies. But these guys, when food is scarce, are known to eat meat too. It's very rare, but they have been able to catch other critters if they have to and eat them, and they do have really sharp teeth.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to get too close to those teeth. I've seen nice little close-ups, and his nails too, his claws.
Yes, they have really sharp claws. That's actually one of their primary defenses is to stand up on their hind legs and try to make themselves look bigger. Now, if you've seen pictures of red pandas doing this, I can't imagine you would think they were scary because they're so cute. But they'll stand up like that and put their feet up like that too to try and scare off anything that's coming after them. And if something still wants to get them, they'll actually come down and slam down on it with their paws and their sharp claws there. And those things are pretty sharp.
So where do they have their natural habitats? Where do they live in the wild?
These guys come from like the foothills of the Himalayas. So it's a pretty small area. I mean, it's a large area, but like they're like right there in that one spot. That's primarily where they come from. So it's kind of like getting up into the mountains, but not quite. So he does like cooler temperatures. And then like right now in the summertime, today's a nice day, so he's pretty motivated. But when it's up in the mid and high 80s, he's a little less happy. So he has access to air conditioning right here on this log that he's sitting on. That'll spit cold air out into it. So you'll sometimes see him sleeping there. And then of course, if it just gets really hot, we let him go inside. He loves to be inside where it's like 60 degrees in there. That's where we hang out too. When it's hot out, we'll just go hang out with him in the air conditioning.
So it sounds like people should come back in the winter. He's a little bit more active then?
Oh yeah, he's really fun to watch in the wintertime. He loves to play in the snow. But he's just a bit more active during those times. But he's got a pretty set routine too. So in the mornings after we service, we let him out, and the first thing he does is go straight for his bamboo that we place all throughout the exhibit. And then midday, he likes to take a nap. So like guests will come up and they'll see him sleeping. And then getting closer to the end of the day, that's typically when we do training with him. So you'll see him awake and kind of getting ready for keepers. Every time a keeper walks by, he perks up and he watches to see if we're coming to say hi to him, and then he'll come greet us and do training sessions with us.
And I know sometimes he's really surprised me where it's been a very hot day and I'm over here filming something else, and I turn around and he's just like frolicking on the branches.
Yeah.
So always make sure that you come over and see if he's out.
Yep.
Even though he does prefer the cooler weather. Now, does he make any sounds?
They do make sounds. It's very interesting. I've never actually heard them do it until when we first got this red panda, and we had to grab him up for an exam, and he doesn't know us yet. He wasn't trained yet, so we had to try and lightly restrain him as safely as possible, but he didn't like that. So when he would try and run from us, they make what they describe as a wah 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 sound, but it's kind of like a wah, 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 like a chuffing almost.
Okay.
It's really funny. Everything he does just kind of cracks me up. I can never know what he's thinking. He's so like emotionless in his face.
Yeah.
Like a stuffed animal.
So is Olivia giving him little licks off a popsicle or not popsicle, lollipop? What is that she's got in her hands?
Got her target right there. So like I said earlier, he is target trained. So the criteria for that is he's going to come to it and touch his nose to the target. And when he does that, then Olivia will reinforce him for that behavior. So he was trained to do that so that we can get him to move from place to place. We used it to train him initially to go into his crate. We trained him to get on the scale with it. So target training is a very good basic behavior, something that you can train right in the very beginning, but it's a useful tool for training more complicated behaviors too. So it's a good way to get the animal used to training, get the animal used to you, but then you can use that finished behavior to train more complicated ones as well.
Does he smell?
Does he smell?
Yeah.
Oh, does he have an odor?
No, yeah. Does he smell like funny?
Not really. He is, typical animal, but he does have a very unique feces smell. And if you don't know what feces is, that's poop. But you can tell when a red panda poops. It does have a very distinct smell. It's not gross though. It's hard to say. It's hard to describe. It's not bad.
Well,
yeah.
Okay,
it's a lot though. He poops a lot. And he poops in inconvenient places.
Oh, of course.
But at least he usually goes in the same spot, so at least we know where it's at. It's just we have to reach down and grab it.
Okay, well, thank you for that detail.
You're welcome. I know everybody likes to know the the dirty details too. But I think he's deciding he's done. And actually, Olivia did a pretty long training session with him.
Yeah, he did a great job.
We try to do sessions that are, we set a goal for each session, but we also want to make sure that we're not doing it too long, such that he starts to get bored or starts to lose focus. And so that's his finished painting for today.
Oh wow, that's a lot better than I expected.
Yeah, he's been getting better. He practices a lot now.
Aww.
One thing that would be really cute to do is get him to do like a little paw print in the corner, so it's like his signature.
That would be cool. That'd be cool.
We'll get there.
But yeah, I'm actually very proud of him today. He sometimes chooses not to do stuff, but today he was really motivated. We got a really long session out of him. He did a lot of different behaviors, and that was all positive, and it ended nicely. So that's a really good training session. Great, all we can ask for, right? So, all right. Well, thank you again, guys, for joining us, and as always, thank you for continuing to support Brookfield Zoo. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.